Hello, we are live again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Upbeat Games. So in this episode of Final Fantasy 15 video clip, I'm going to run the normal rate first and the second circles. And I'm going to play as my melee DPS. I'm going to play Dragoon as one of the DPSs, going into one of these two normal rates, and then the other one I will go in as my Reaper job. Alright, so yes, so I did actually run the fourth circle playing as my sage in the previous episode, so I'm going to repair my gears, and then let's actually get out of my FC Free Company house, and I'm going to actually change into my Dragoon. I'm really fond of this glam. So this is actually the chest piece was actually obtained by running the alliance rate, and you can see like the chest piece, like especially those armors really look like the the golden I think it's called the golden warrior in English in Saint Seiya comic and the animation. Yeah, so this is actually Dragoon, and then I'm going to actually run like a register first or second circle. Alright, so since actually Dragoon is one of the melee DPSs, so usually whenever I have a chance to actually wait for any contents to be loaded up, I'd like to practice the rotation of my Dragoon. Just like any other jobs, the concept is always like this: do not hoard any actions or resources I can use. Put them into cooldown so I can actually use them again. Every melee DPS has their unique rotation, and this is actually the single targeted rotation, right? So I'm going to actually strike. I'm going to strike this level 90 dummy to practice my rotation, and then I'll just quickly talk about like the rotation. You might not fully understand, but if you are interested, there are lots of websites, or there is actually a Discord channel called the Balance, which actually explains how each melee DPS is played. Okay, from the very beginning, I'm not going to actually hoard all of these resources. I'm going to actually give myself lots of buff up, so that my attack will render more DPS output. And you can see this is actually one of the positionals. I have to come back to the back of the boss. I'm actually playing with my PS5 controller on my PC. Many PC players prefer just to play with mouse and the keyboard. I think just because I have been playing PlayStation console for many years, so I got used to play games using controller. Luckily, Square Enix really supports PS5's controller very well, so I just feel like it's very I got used to using the controller. So as you can see, like my character just burst, so meaning like the mechanic, like the rotation I'm going to use, can actually render more attack. Yeah, I think I just didn't have enough time to do one critical hit, but that's okay. It's just practice right now. Yeah, so you can see now I have to go to the flank or the sides of the boss. It's called a positionals. If I landed those attack at the correct positionals, then my character would just render more DPS output, which is necessary. So I'm going to burst again. So burst basically just means my character is actually going to render more attack, and then it's very unique for Dragoon. Yeah, this is actually not a Dragoon in-depth explanation video, so I'm not going to really talk more about like how players need to play Dragoon. Yeah, the rotation that I did there was a little bit messy. So you can imagine, or like it's at least how I feel. Melee DPS rotation is way faster than the tanks and the healers. Usually healers don't have like unique rotation per se. Um, Tanks for sure. All of the tanks have their own rotation, but the melee DPS and also I'm assuming other DPS as well, their rotation just feels so fast. And the melee DPS has positional request. I believe ranged DPS and the casters. Casters means like those jobs which actually cast magic. They might not have positional request. You can see like the waiting time to actually get into those normal rates played as DPS as my Dragoon. It's kind of like a faster, like a waiting time is actually longer than like the waiting time when I played as a tank or a healers, because tanks and healers are considered as support roles or essential roles. There are more players who actually play the DPS jobs than the players who actually play tank and healer roles. Yeah, doing my positionals. Yeah, you just saw I kind of like paused for 0.5 seconds. Reason being is like I wanted to really activate one of the buff before I actually hit the next attacking action. Yeah, so you can see like my character burst again, and I just give myself a buff, and then I just used one action which actually render the most attack, most DPS. Alright, so the duty finder has actually popped, so let's actually reset the dummy and then go into the fight with my Dragoon. It's actually the first circle. So we're just waiting for one tank to actually activate or commence the fight. Yep, there we go. That player has acknowledged. So the DPS, all of the DPSs have their own healing actions, which are called the Bloodbath and the Second Wind. For sure, like those healing actions, like the potency, cannot be compared with any healer's actions or even Paladin's clemency. But I got a good habit of using those actions as well, just in like not in the normal rates. Normal rates should be fine, but whenever I do Savage rates, I still use those. The concept is I do not want to hoard those actions, right? I want to use them as early as possible in the correct situation, so I can use them again. I can put those actions on cooldown, so I can use them again the next time. Some DPS just solely rely on healers to heal them, which is okay. But I think like I just have this habit. If I can heal myself a little bit, which actually helps the healers a little bit, I do that. Okay, this is actually the first circle. I think the appearance of the boss looks like one of those deities in the Eastern, in temple when you actually. Yeah, I ate some foods. Usually foods just dramatically increase my, not dramatically, like slightly increase my DPS output. Yeah, boss just actually did his half arena cleave. The flail, so you can see I just ran to the other side, otherwise I would get cleaved. So this is actually the normal red white. What I just pressed there, it's actually called the feint. As you can see, like I explained it in my previous video, tanks have an action called the reprisal. So reprisal actually renders 10% mitigation, right? Feint comes from DPS, not 10% mitigation, 5%. But the concept being is like 5% is still something, right? It's better than nothing. Whenever doing the normal rate or even the savage rate, it's very important to actually use all of the resources. That's the tank buster. So earlier when I tried to give myself a buff up, I kind of like pressed the button a bit slow. So this is actually a unique mechanic. Another button I just pressed, if you pay attention to, is called the True North. So that means sometimes, based on the mechanic, my character cannot really just go to the sides or back of the boss. So if that happens, I have to just use a True North to temporarily delete the requirement I need to use to actually land my positionals. This is another red white. Yeah, again, this part, like my rotation, it is a bit like messy. Another tank buster. Yeah, I just used the blood bust, which just what helps heal myself a little bit. So my HP is full, but I still just get this habit to use it. So this is actually a heavy red white. Yeah, so I just used another DPS hitting action, which is called the second wing. They are like those fire-colored floating balls surrounding the boss, meaning you see like on the floor, there are red and the white colored areas. So whenever like if you see the fire ball surrounding the boss, that means the red area is unsafe. So you can see now there are white floating balls surrounding the boss. So white zone is unsafe. So the same now, like the fire zone is unsafe, like a red colored zone is unsafe. Yeah, I kind of maybe like missed the one rotation. So I have to use my True North. Whenever like I use my True North, every hit I land, like those hits, like what they include the positional effect. So on the side, on the back. Now I can burst now. So super heavy red white, use the feint. Yeah, again like my rotation was a bit messy there. Yeah, the same mechanic again. These True Norths because I can't really move a lot. Basically, you see like there is this rotating triangle symbol above my head, right? And then like there are those floating cube. So like my goal is to actually always get hit by the opposite color cube. So that's why I have to change the location, and I got hit by one flail. So you can see this is another red white. Yep, another read white. If you ask how come I know that's a read white, because I memorized these fights, right? That's a tank buster. That's a super heavy read white, and then my feint is up again, and then I popped my blood buzz as well. So how does the blood buzz work? Whenever I activate, after I activated the blood buzz, so whenever I hit the boss, I will get some self heal. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I forgot to use the LB3. I think I just focused too much on dodging the mechanics. I was supposed to use the LB3 when it's filled earlier. Alright, so for sure give Gunbreaker commendation. And then let's see, yeah, I'm still trying to get that gauntlets. So just pass all of the other things. I rolled 54 on, not quite sure I got it. I think it just, okay, got it, perfect. Alright, yeah, so that was Dragoon. That's actually the normal rate, first circle. I would say like yes, for sure, playing Dragoon is actually a bit harder than playing as Reaper. So I'm going to actually run the last normal rate, the second circle, by playing as my Reaper. Okay, I have actually, again, repaired my gear, so you can see like now my gauntlets, there are 3, right? I got a 3, I got a 1 gauntlet from doing that first circle. Alright, now just to change the job to Reaper. Let me see if I can change my glam. I really like this leather jacket. And then register into the second circle. And then for sure, take this time to practice Reaper's rotation. Yeah, sometimes my fingers are too fast, like fast enough to actually miss the buttons that I'm supposed to press. Yeah, so now I need to go flank, doing my positional, and then give the dummy another debuff. So from dummy's perspective, that is a debuff, or from an enemy's perspective. But from my job's perspective, every time when I apply that debuff, it actually renders me 10% actual DPS output. Meaning I have to actually keep that debuff on all the time, playing as a Reaper. You can see now, I just used another weapon skill, then a debuff gone, I just reapplied again. Yeah, use my True North. I got a habit. Whenever I can use a True North, I just use True North. Because like, you know, the less I move, the better. I only move whenever I have to use, I have to dodge the mechanic. Yeah, so you can see that the debuff is gone again, and I just reapplied it, reapplied that. Yeah, so right now, I got a 50, I think it's called the Shroud Gauge. I'm not going to activate my burst. Reason being is I'm actually waiting for another buff up to be back. So now I think that buff up is back, so I can actually use that. That buff up renders a 3% like damage increase, together with my the other debuff, which actually renders a 10. So in total, when my character burst, so there is like the 13% additional DPS output. So you might think like a 3% is really minimal, but another good thing about that buff up is like whenever I activate it, not only my own character gets that 3% buff up, all of the other players who are close to me get that 3% as well. The beauty of this game from DPS perspective is usually when one DPS, as long as the players they actually do their rotation correctly, when one DPS burst, that's the time for the other DPSs to burst as well. Yeah, alright, so that's enough rotation practice. So it looks like it's gonna take some time before we can run into this fight. So I'm gonna actually play as my weaver so I can actually craft some clothing. So as you can see, striking damage usually does not damage my weapons and the gears. Okay, back to, let's actually make these hempen bracers. Usually I'd like to do this before crafting any item. I'd like to check like how much like that item can be sold in the current market. So the lowest price is 900, which is quite profitable. I need 2 bronze ingots, 1 hard leather, and 2 undyed hempen cloths. I don't have any, so I can actually go ahead to make some undyed hempen cloths first. Yeah, that's the undyed hempen cloths. You see, like to make 1 undyed hempen cloths, I need 2 hempen yarn, right? So earlier, what I did was like I just like made 4 hempen yarn using one action, which is called the quick synthesis, and then a hempen yarn like the base materials is called the moko grass. I have 27 moko grass left. Okay, so go ahead to make 1 undyed hempen cloth. If you are wondering why I don't use a quick synthesis to actually make my undyed hempen cloth, is if I just synthesize using the normal way, I can actually make a high quality item. So usually selling high quality item, I can actually list it like with a bit more money than selling a normal item, normal quality item. Yeah, so that's why in the beginning you can see the quality here. This is actually the crafting action window. So I need to actually first get my quality to 100%, and then I can actually synthesis. There we go. Yeah, I made 1 undyed hempen cloth, and then I need another one. Alright, and then, yep, so I got 2 undyed hempen cloths. Now I need a hard leather. So weaver actually cannot make leather, so I have to change my job into the leather worker job. And then I think the hard leather. Okay, let me see. This one is not the hard leather, it's the leather. The hard leather is here, so I need to actually use 1 leather to make the hard leather. But I actually I have a 5 leather now, but but I actually want to make a high quality leather first. So I can actually go to make the leather. Okay, you can see again, I need actually animal hide. Okay, so I don't really need leather. I can just use the animal hide to actually, this is the base material to make one hard leather. So I'll just go ahead to use the synthesize, not the quick synthesize. So I can, you see like a durability, there are only like 4 durability. That means the 4 times I can press this button. So I have to try the hasty touch because I just used the one basic touch. There's a number 18 here. So that means by using this action, it actually costs 18 crafting points. CP stands for crafting points. You can see it's not at full now. But then you can see just after pressing one basic touch, it only increases 40 out of 168 quality, which is only 6%. I want to actually make the quality 100%. So that's why I have to use a hasty touch. But hasty touch, you can see the success rate is only 60%. This is like a gambling, right? So I'm going to just give it a try. Yeah, so I did it. So you can see like I use the hasty touch, and then I can use this restore durability by 30. After you can see the durability now is 20. I have 2 actions left. I can only just use 2 actions. My goal is to actually, make the quality 100%. Like this bar is full, and then the progress bar is full as well. Like to make this happen, it actually requires me to press these buttons, right? I can only press buttons 4 times. But it's less likely I will actually reach my goal by only pressing 2 buttons. So now I want to actually press the button once, and then I can use this Master's Mend action. So by using Master's Mend, it actually restores item durability by 30. So by 30, that means if I use it now, I waste 1. I waste 10. So I just want to use another action, and then try that. So this time I'm going to try the hasty touch again, to gamble again. Yeah, it works. So now you can see I only have a 10, basically 10 durability left. Basically, I can only use 1 action, but less likely, my quality, if I use the basic touch, my quality will actually reach 100%, but then it fails my crafting, right? Because the progress bar is 0. So this is the time I'm going to use the Master's Mend to actually increase the durability. Yeah, you see the durability back to 40. Basically, I can do 4 more actions. And the Master's Mend cost crafting points, right? Luckily, I had enough crafting points to actually use the Master's Mend. So now I do not have to use the hasty touch again because I only have 12% quality, percentage left, right? So hasty touch, you see the success rate is 60%, but basic touch, the success rate is 100%, which actually also cost 18 crafting points. So I'm going to use that. And you can see now my quality is at 100%. Now I need to actually craft this item. I need to actually make the progress bar full. So there are 2 ways to make the progress bar. Again, rapid synthesis, just like a hasty touch. Rapid synthesis efficiency is 250%. So but the success rate is only 50%. It's like a success or fail, right? So if I try this, then if it's a successful, just a 1 time, my progress will actually reach to 100%. So let's give it a try. But basically, it's a success or fail. See, it failed, right? So I only have 20 action left. I have to use this one, basic synthesis. So the success rate is actually 100%. You see, I used the 1 basic synthesis, but it only increases my progress bar to 11. So if you do the math correctly, I can actually use another basic synthesis because I have 1 durability, 1 bar left, and that one will actually finish the whole crafting process. There we go. Yeah, so now I made a hard leather. And I believe the next two items I need is the bronze ingot. Let's actually double check. Yeah, I need actually one bronze ingot. So usually the ingots, both weaver and the leather worker, they don't make ingots, goldsmith does. So that's why I switch my job to goldsmith. And let's see. So goldsmith can actually make copper ingot. Let's see, any bronze ingot. Yeah, there is a brass ingot. There isn't any bronze ingot, so that means I have to purchase, right? Yeah, so bronze ingot. So I can for sure purchase. You can see the shop selling price is a 9 gil. Let's see, like, if any players sell bronze ingot from the market. There is, but the price is significantly higher than 9 gil, right? You see, like, you see the shop selling price is 9 gil, but the player who actually listed the bronze ingot with the lowest price, it's 85 gil. There's only one item. So that's actually waste of money, right? So ideally, my free company, they actually have set up an NPC which actually sells most of the base materials any crafters need. Oh, something actually has gone wrong. I have to actually wrap up this episode.